everyone! Today I am doing a really special video, and this video, it means a lot to me. I've been thinking about doing this video for the longest, probably ever since I started my YouTube channel, and this is pretty much going to be my story and how I came to Christ and just all the struggles that I went through and that made me who I am today. So if you would like to hear my story, then just keep watching. To start off this video, I want to go ahead and start from the very beginning, from how it all started, and let's just go into my childhood. I went through something really traumatic as a child, and I don't want to discuss that because I don't want this video to be about that. It scarred me for life, however, it made me who I am today. I remember as a little girl feeling very shameful of myself, having low self-esteem, hating myself, and just all around just not liking who I was. And often I questioned how valuable my life was. I mean, this was me as a young girl. I did not like myself. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to when I moved from Miami to South Carolina, and I moved when I was in the 4th grade or 5th grade, and that was a kind of hard move for me just because I didn't know anyone. I was the new girl in town, and I looked very different from everyone because yeah, I have thick eyebrows and dark features, and I look different. Going through what I went through when I was little, I isolated myself. At this time, everyone had their own group of friends, and you know, I was the new girl in town, so I didn't really have many friends. I was new to all this, and on top of that, I was very shy, and I didn't know how to make new friends. I remember being in middle school, just being hated by girls, and I found a couple of girls, but I mean, I just remember dreading going to school, hating to go to school because I would always be picked on. I was bullied. I would get girls that just wanted to fight me, literally fight me physically, and I didn't know how to stand up for myself. I remember specifically asking a girl, I'm like, and she was like, oh, I want to fight you. I'm like, what did I do to you? And I remember her saying to me, I just don't like you. And I've also gotten, I just don't like the way you look. I just don't like the way you act. I just don't like being around you. I mean, it was just, and I started believing them. And I remember specifically one night, me looking into the mirror, questioning my life. Like, I was like, why am I here, you know? And I remember not having any makeup on, and I had acne. So I remember looking in the mirror, I'm like, oh, you're so ugly. You know, no wonder people don't like you. I could just see the faces of girls just being so mad at me, and I believed that, and I kind of fell into their trap and started believing into the bully. Towards the end of middle school, 8th grade, I started, you know, branching out and finally found a good group of girls, but still, once again, I didn't open myself to anyone else. You know, I had a group of girls that I trusted, and I didn't let anyone else in my life because everyone that I'd always get hurt. So let's go ahead and fast forward to high school. High school, I was still very shy, quiet, reserved, and I remember getting a lot of girls saying that I was stuck up. They didn't know me, but I was still stuck up, and you know, I thought I was better than everyone, and it was miserable. And I remember meeting my husband at the time, or his boyfriend at the time, and I remember admiring his outgoing personality, how people love him. He definitely cracked open that shell that was curled up in a ball, and I just looking back, I just missed out so much in life, being that shy little girl. But it all happened because of my past, my history. So let's go ahead and fast forward to when we graduated. I finished high school, my husband did too. He joined the Army, and I remember right before, we were talking about marriage, but you know, here, back and forth, whatever. And right before he went to boot camp, my father-in-law had sat us down together. We did a prayer together and asked the Lord to come into our lives and for him to save us. And I remember at the time, it didn't mean that much to me. I didn't take it all that serious. I just did it just because he asked us to. It wasn't for me, it was more to just, you know, please him. And I did that not knowing what God had in store for me. And I think that was the turning point, and that's when God really started working in my life. Then my husband goes to boot camp, and I stayed back, of course. And, well, we weren't married yet, so let me just call, he's my boyfriend. My boyfriend, ooh, he goes to boot camp, right? And I stay back. And I remember my husband's family always asking me, Crystal, you want to go to service with us? You know, come to church with us and da-da-da. I was not interested in going to church. You know, I'm like, no, I have to work. And I remember, now that I'm talking about this, I remember specifically requesting to work all day on Sundays, right? I know. Yeah, that was me. I requested, hey, you want me to work? Because that way I have an excuse, right? I gotta work, can't go this time, maybe next time. Anyways, so they're like, you know, Crystal, you can request to get your mornings off. I'm like, all right. So I did that. And then I started going to church. I didn't have an excuse now, right? So I started going to church. When I first walked in, it was so crowded. All I can see was people. It wasn't me and God. No, it was people all around me. So, and I remember feeling nervous. Everything was so new. I was scared. And I didn't know what I was getting myself into, you know? So, listening to the service, I really wasn't focused. I was more focused on everyone else. I kept on going to church because I guess I wanted to impress my future in-laws, right? I kept on going to church, and I always listened to the lyrics because we'd be singing the songs and listening to the lyrics, really soaking in the message. And I was just hit hard. And it's like every time we would sing a new song, I just wanted to break down. I'm like, oh gosh, what is this? I have never felt this, you know, I don't understand this. I don't understand this feeling. Kept on going to church, and then I started focusing on the actual sermons. And it seemed like the message was focused on me. Everything, it was freaky. And let me go ahead and tell you what church I went to. It was Anderson Mill. And I'll go ahead and link the church website down below because you can actually see live sermons on the website. So you can stream them live. So that's pretty cool. Go ahead and link that down below. Every message was towards me. And then I was like, man, God, are you speaking to me? I mean, it literally hit me in the face with a brick. My husband, but he was my boyfriend at the time, while he was in boot camp, God was working in my life, and I didn't even know it. Fast forward to when he came home from AIT. We rushed into marriage. I was determined to become a true Christian. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to give myself to anyone unless I'm married. You know, I didn't want to waste another minute on a man that's not even my husband. So I was like, you know what? We need to go ahead and get married. You know, if we want to take this serious, let's get married. At the time, I thought that I was going to stay home or in South Carolina, while he went to the new duty station. So he went to the new duty station. During that separation, I felt like God was really working in my life. I just started more so falling in love with Jesus, not so much believing him anymore. It was more like falling in love with him. It's a feeling that is like no other. I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward to when I moved to Kentucky. When I moved to Kentucky, I was really lonely because this was the first time that I moved away from my family. Being married so young, everything was really new to me. So rather than getting support from my husband, I was wanting it from my family, but my family wasn't there because they were miles away. It was really hard in the beginning. I remember feeling really depressed because I just wanted my family. Now that I think back, what was I doing? You got married, you need to rely on each other, on your husband. And of course the Lord. Lord's your foundation, and I think in the beginning of our marriage, I didn't take that serious. So we found another church, Southeast Christian Church. I'm gonna go ahead and link their website down below because they actually have sermons online too. We started going to this church. It was about 45 minutes away, so we didn't go every Sunday, so I would just go every so often. I remember the guy saying, "This is going to be a different service." And he talked about the importance of being baptized. And I've always wanted to be baptized because I've never been baptized. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd love to be baptized. And then he started talking about, the meaning of being baptized. And I was like, oh, I want that. And then he's like, today, if you want to be baptized, today's your day. And I remember looking at my husband, my face lit up, and I was like, oh my gosh, God's calling me to do this. I have to be baptized. I remember looking at my husband and he was like, you want to do it? You want to do it? I'm like, yeah. It was scary. I remember feeling anxiety walking down the stairs, but I wanted this. I was like, I want it. If I want to claim that I'm a Christian, I need to go full on, right? My husband and I, we actually got baptized together. And I remember, well, first it was Sharon. The people who we'd go with, she wanted to be baptized, and so I think her wanting to go kind of pulled me to go too. So we all went, and my husband got baptized first, and then he baptized me, and that was the most freeing moment of my life. All the weight, all the depression, it was gone. Like, wow, I'm reborn again. I'm new. In that picture, you can actually see, like, when I first got up, and just I was so happy. Feeling I'll never forget, because I remember feeling new. I remember just loving my husband more and feeling free, not having that weight on my shoulders anymore, trying to do it all on my own. I was like, from now on, I'm trusting in the Lord to direct me where I need to be in life. The word love had so much more meaning to me than ever. I thought I loved my husband, but at that moment in time, I was just like, man, I love you, and I love the Lord. I love God. I love my life. I have meaning in life now. I was so hurt in the past, but now I just, I forgive those that have hurt me along the way, and I mean, forgiving definitely changed my life too. God says, forgive those who've done wrong to you, and I did, and that was definitely a changing moment in my life. Now we're gonna fast forward to when my husband deploys. I remember specifically one day driving in the car, and if you know me, okay, I be bumping to some Jesus music, and I remember having my music really loud, just singing like no one was listening. The music died down a little, And all of a sudden, clearly, I can hear a voice saying, "There's no greater love than me." I was just blown away because there is no greater love than God. When I heard those words, it all made sense. It was clear. It took me being down, me being depressed. Unfortunately, it took all that for me to come to Christ. Once again, unfortunately, that's usually how it happens. Who comes to Christ? When their life is going right and you're happy? No, a lot of times it's because, you're down and out. You need some kind of moral support. Giving my life to Christ, I'm no longer the victim. I used to feel sorry for myself. I used to have pity for myself, but now I'm no longer the victim. I actually had to film this video again because I was a little too emotional the first time around, but the second time around, I'm okay. Those scars are still there, but those scars remind me who I am today and what I've been through, but I appreciate my life more, I know the Lord loved me so much that He came to this earth to die on a cross for my sins, which I appreciate every day and I'm very thankful for. One thing that I learned during my journey is that we all have a purpose in life, but it's through Christ that you'll find your purpose in life. You think that you have control of your life, but let me tell you, you don't, okay? I thought I was gonna do dental hygiene, I was gonna do this and that. No, I in a million years would not have guessed that I'd be in Germany right now. God knows what He's doing, okay? But you just have to let Him take control of your life and it'll pay off. Trust me, it'll pay off. There's a song that I love, and the lyrics or the chorus, it says, "It's more like falling in love than something to believe in." And that is so true. I would say that, oh, I'm a Christian, I believe in God, I'm saved. No. When you love the Lord and you crave for Him and you want all of His glory, that's when your life truly changed, and that's when your heart starts to change. That's when you start to change. I feel complete now. I'm no longer that lonely, depressed child. I feel complete. A lot of times it's like you crave for more in life. You always want more. You're never satisfied until you meet the Lord. That is my story.